Right. What's happened to Rugby X? And why haven't we heard anything of it since? Now, to jog your memory, Rugby X was a five-a-side tournament featuring teams from England, Ireland, France, USA, and Barbarians, and Argentina on the men's side. And on the women's side, it was England, Ireland, France, USA. Now, looking back at the 2019 tournament, I thought to myself, hey, this is a brilliant new way of rugby. Like, I wouldn't have thought rugby could be as small as this. Well, when I mean small, I mean in terms of teams. Like, I didn't think that rugby could ever be a five-a-side sport. And yet when Rugby X came up, I was sold immediately. Like, I was like, wow, this is a great new brand of rugby. It's fun for everyone to enjoy, even if you're not a rugby fan. What I liked about Rugby X was that it was free flowing and the rules were simple to understand. So no messing around really with the rules, like and there was nothing which could potentially slow the game down. Like, and another thing I liked about Rugby X was that it was a different brand to the usual 15-a-side game we see every year. Like, it was really easy for non-rugby fans to understand. So that was one of my favourite features of Rugby X. I mean, looking at Rugby X, it was great for everyone to enjoy. The camaraderie was brilliant and everybody liked it. Well, most people did. I certainly did like it because it was different to what I usually see. But here's my only complaint about Rugby X, and it stems from the shootout. Like, thinking about it, think about the shootout with England versus USA at the final. Like, I've seen some fans saying that it was unfair that England won, even though all tries were scored. Like, England scored 3 tries to USA's 2. Like, so some fans felt that the first to 3 format of the shootout was unfair because it gave England the advantage, and that's something I agree with. Like, maybe it could have been like football's penalty shootout, where each team takes a turn until someone misses. I think if Rugby X was to come back, maybe they could have a look at reformatting the shootout so that it's fair for everyone. Overall, what did you like about Rugby X? What did you not like about Rugby X? And sticking with this tournament, I think, looking to the future, I believe Rugby X should be a franchise tournament rather than international tournament. Like, we all enjoyed Rugby X in 2019, but for me, if rugby wants to garner a new fan base, then I believe franchise is the way forward. Like, much like the 100 in cricket, like that's been a successful franchise tournament, even though some may see it as a detriment to the other formats. But I like the 100. It's great. But back to Rugby X. How would a franchise Rugby X tournament go? Like, for me, I'd like to see it with entirely new team names rather than, say, Saracens Rugby X or a Leinster Rugby X, because for me that's something I wouldn't like to see. Like, I wouldn't like to see a Rugby X tournament with the same name club sides as what you see in the 15-a-side game. I'd like to see Rugby X with entirely new team names. Like, how could that work? Another thing, if Rugby X was to come back, when would it be staged? Now, I've been thinking about this one, and I thought that Rugby X could be staged in the summer, so around the same time as the 100. Like, could Rugby X and the 100 go head to head? Well, it's something interesting to think about, but realistically, hang on a minute, why not? Why can't Rugby X and the 100 go head to head? Like, that would be something interesting. But what about the format? Would you like to see 2 groups of 6 for the men's plus four teams for the women's? Or would you rather 2 groups of 8 for both men's and women's? Like, for me, thinking about the format, I'm not entirely sure how it would go if Rugby X was to return. So let me know your thoughts on that. But for me, there is lots of potential for that brand of rugby to be successful, but there are some stumbling blocks, such as when it could be held or how it should be held. Because looking at the 2019 tournament, that was a blueprint as to how franchise rugby could potentially be. But those are my 2 cents on Rugby X. But I'd like to know from you now, what are your thoughts on Rugby X? Could it come back? And if it does come back, in what capacity? Like, where would you like to see it staged? In London each year? Or could Rugby X do a world first, where a tournament is held around different cities across the world? Well, that's not really a world first, because you see that with the ATP Tour finals. But anyway, how do you see Rugby X going in the future if it was to come back? Over to you.